All right, everyone, let's jump into this deep dive, shall we? We're talking about becoming an office equipment repair technician today.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, and we've got a ton of info from RoleCatcher on this. It's actually way more interesting than just fixing paper jams, which is what I kind of thought it was before.
Right, that's what people think, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because when you think about it, everyone relies on this stuff working,
Oh, totally.
but nobody thinks about the people who keep it running
Exactly.
until it breaks down, of course.
Oh, for sure. Like when the printer's down 10 minutes before a big meeting, suddenly everybody's best friend's the technician.
Exactly, exactly.
So right off the bat here, RoleCatcher is saying this job market, it's about to explode,
Oh, yeah.
like really take off. They're projecting like X% growth, which is, I mean, that's way faster than most jobs out there.
It is, it really is, and it makes sense when you think about it. Businesses can't function without this equipment.
Yep.
And as technology keeps advancing, the demand for skilled technicians is only going to keep going up.
Yeah, they actually call it like recession proof in here, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's one of those fields that stays strong even when other industries are struggling.
Makes you feel a little bit better. Like, okay, there's some stability here,
Exactly.
especially with all the crazy stuff happening in the economy these days.
Exactly.
So, the other thing that jumped out at me, you don't need a 4-year degree for this, which is pretty cool.
No, you don't. And that's a huge plus, especially these days when everyone's, worried about student debt and all that.
Totally, totally. So RoleCatcher's saying a lot of technicians start with an associate's degree or even just like specialized training courses.
They're more focused.
Yeah.
You learn the specific skills you need to get out there and start working.
Get your hands dirty, figure it out.
Exactly.
So it seems like a really fast track to a well-paying job because, I mean, they're throwing out figures like 6x, to 6x, XXX, and
Okay.
I'm assuming that's not even including, like, if you were doing overtime or anything like that.
Yeah, that's just the base. And then you factor in benefits and, as you gain experience, get those certifications, that number can go way up.
Oh, right. They mentioned certifications a lot. CompTIA, I think it was.
Yeah, CompTIA plus A, that's like the gold standard. It's recognized across the industry.
So it's not just some online thing where it's like, oh yeah, I got a certificate, I took this course. This is like legit.
This is the real deal.
Yeah.
It shows employers you have a solid foundation, you know what you're doing with hardware, software, all that good stuff.
And they mentioned another one too, Network Plus A, is that right?
Right, that one's all about, networks.
So is that like Wi-Fi and all that stuff?
Yeah, think of it like this. Nowadays, printers, they're not just standalone machines, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're connected to computers. They're part of a network.
Right.
So if a client's printer can't connect, you might be troubleshooting their Wi-Fi, checking IP addresses, updating drivers, all that fun stuff.
Wow. Okay, so it's a lot more high-tech than I initially thought.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's not just like, oh, can you replace the toner? Right.
You're like the office tech superhero, swooping in, saving the day with your knowledge of networks and printers and...
And everything in between.
Exactly.
But the best superheroes, they're always learning new tricks, right? And that's something RoleCatcher emphasizes a lot.
Like what?
Continuous learning. New technologies, they're popping up all the time in this field. You got to be adaptable. You got to stay ahead of the curve.
Otherwise, you're obsolete. Like, that's it. You're done.
Pretty much. Technology waits for no one.
So, okay, we've talked about the demand. We've talked about the salary, all that good stuff. But what are these technicians actually doing all day? Like, beyond just fixing printers, what does their day-to-day actually look like?
Well, it's definitely not your typical 9-to-5 desk job. I can tell you that much.
Right.
RoleCatcher paints a picture of this really dynamic and hands-on role. You could be installing brand new multifunction printers one day, troubleshooting network connectivity issues the next, and then maybe even doing some training for employees on how to use the latest scanning software all in the same week. So it's like a mix of like you're fixing things, you're installing things, you're even teaching people how to use this stuff.
Exactly. It's a really diverse role, which is great for people who get bored easily.
Right. Like who wants to sit at a desk all day, every day doing the same thing?
Yesly. And there's something really satisfying about, troubleshooting a problem, finding the solution, and then getting that critical piece of equipment back up and running for a grateful client.
Oh, yeah. Like that feeling of, I fixed it.
Yes. It's a real sense of accomplishment.
I can see why this career path would appeal to like certain personalities, You're active, You're using your brain, you're solving problems.
Absolutely. And you're constantly learning new things, which keeps things interesting.
And you're the one that everybody goes to when the tech goes down.
That's true. You become the office hero, in a way.
Yeah, there you go. A little ego boost.
A little bit. But, jokes aside, it really is a career that offers a lot of autonomy and the opportunity to make a real impact on how businesses operate.
Okay, I like that.
You're not just a cog in the machine. You're the one keeping the machine running smoothly.
I like it. Now, one thing RoleCatcher did mention was that this job can involve a decent amount of travel. Is that like driving around town to different offices, or are we talking like hopping on a plane to go fix a printer for some CEO?
It really depends.
Yeah.
Some technicians, they might work primarily within a single office building, maybe a campus.
Right.
Others might cover a larger territory, driving around town, going to different client sites.
Okay.
And yeah, there are some companies that have technicians who specialize in installing and servicing like high-end equipment. And those guys, they might travel all over the country, even internationally.
Wow. Okay, so you could carve out a little niche for yourself as like the globe-trotting, tech guru.
Exactly. If you've got the travel bug, there are definitely opportunities out there.
That's kind of cool. All right, so we've established this job's in high demand. It seems like the pay is good, lots of variety. But what about those people who are listening who are like, you know what? I'm not a tech whiz, but I'm good with my hands. And I like to, tinker and take stuff apart and figure out how things work.
Right.
Is there room for those people in this field?
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of the skills that make a great office equipment repair technician, they're transferable from other hands-on professions.
Like what?
Think about mechanics, electricians, even carpenters. They all have experience working with tools, troubleshooting problems, understanding technical diagrams.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You don't necessarily need to come from an IT background to excel in this field.
Exactly. It's more about your aptitude for problem solving, your willingness to learn.
Your ability to think on your feet.
Exactly. Those are the things that employers look for just as much as, your technical knowledge.
So it's that combination of hard skills and soft skills that really makes a difference.
Absolutely. It's that human element, being able to communicate effectively, being a good listener, being able to explain things clearly to people who might not be as tech savvy.
Right, because if you can't explain what you're doing or why it's important, then what's the point?
Exactly.
So we've talked about the day-to-day. We've talked about, kind of the skills you need. But what about the actual career path itself? Like, where do you go from here? Does RoleCatcher talk about, moving up the ladder in this field? So it's not like you're just going to be stuck fixing printers for the rest of your life.
Oh, no, not at all.
There's actually like a whole ladder to climb here.
Yeah, there are definitely opportunities for advancement.
So what does that look like? Like if you're starting out as, I don't know what the entry-level title even is, like a field technician or something?
Yeah, something like that.
You're the one going out there, fixing the machines. What's next?
Where you start there, getting that experience, right?
Yeah.
Hands-on with all the different equipment, mastering those skills, and as you prove yourself, you can move up.
Okay.
RoleCatcher talks about becoming a team lead, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supervising other technicians, mentoring them.
Oh, wow. So you've gone from fixing the machines to managing the people who fix the machines.
Exactly.
That's a whole other skill set.
It is, but it's a natural progression, right? You've got the technical expertise, you understand the work, and now you're leading others.
So you're like the guru. Everybody's coming to you with their questions.
Exactly. And then from there, you can even move into more specialized roles.
Specialized, like what, you're the copier king of the tri-state area? Is that what we're talking?
Maybe. But I'm thinking more like, you could become a network integration specialist.
Oh, right, because we were talking about how important that network stuff is.
Yeah, exactly. You could become the go-to person for weaving all those complex systems together.
Oh, that's cool. So you can really tailor your career path to what you're interested in.
Absolutely.
If you really like the nitty-gritty of the hardware, there's a path for that. But if you're like, oh, I like the puzzle-solving aspect of the networks, you can go that route.
Exactly. You can really find your niche.
I like that. They mentioned something else, too, that I thought was interesting about senior technicians analyzing, repair data.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? You're looking at spreadsheets all day.
Well, not exactly spreadsheets, but think of it like being like a tech detective, right?
Okay.
So let's say you're a senior tech, you've been doing this for a while, and you start to notice a pattern,
Okay.
like a certain model of printer. It keeps having the same issue across different clients. You're seeing it pop up in the repair logs again and again.
Right.
So you dig deeper, you analyze the data, and maybe you discover that there's a faulty part in that model or a software glitch that's causing the problem.
So you're not just fixing the problem after it happens, you're like anticipating problems before they even start?
Exactly. You're proactive, you're preventing those headaches for clients,
Yeah.
and you're saving the company time and money in the process.
That's gotta be valuable.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna pay you the big bucks for that.
They should. That kind of analytical thinking, that ability to spot trends, it's what sets you up for, those management roles or even consulting.
Oh, interesting.
Because as you progress in this field, those soft skills, that communication, that problem solving, they become even more critical.
Yeah, because the higher you go, it's less about you actually fixing the machine yourself and more about you, like, managing other people or consulting with clients.
Exactly. It's about leveraging your experience, sharing your knowledge.
Okay, so we've talked about climbing the ladder, all the different paths you can take, but let's be real, like a lot of people, when they're thinking about a career, they're thinking about the paycheck.
Of course. Of course.
So as you move up this ladder, as you gain more experience, get those certifications, how does that translate into, more money in your pocket?
Well, the good news is RoleCatcher is very upfront about that.
Okay, good.
They make it clear that as you gain experience, as you specialize, your earning potential, it goes up significantly.
Okay, that's good to hear.
We were talking before about XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX negotiations, you could easily be looking at six figures.
Okay, now we're talking. But how do you get there? Like, how do you make sure you're getting those raises, those promotions?
That's where a little bit of, self-advocacy comes in.
Okay.
RoleCatcher talks about salary negotiation.
Yeah.
And they give some really good tips on how to make sure you're not, lowballing yourself.
Yeah, because I feel like that's something a lot of people are like kind of scared to do, you know? They don't want to seem pushy.
Right, but you got to remember, you have valuable skills, and you deserve to be compensated fairly for them.
Okay.
So first and foremost, know your worth. Do your research. Look at websites like Glassdoor, salary.com. See what other people in your position, in your location, with your level of experience are making.
Okay, so do your homework.
Exactly. Go in prepared, know what the market rate is, and then when you're having those conversations about salary, about raises, be confident.
Don't sell yourself short.
Exactly. Highlight your accomplishments, those certifications we talked about, any specialized skills that set you apart. And don't be afraid to counter-offer if their initial offer is lower than what you know you're worth.
So it's like a little bit of a back and forth, like a negotiation.
It is a negotiation.
Yeah.
But if you go in prepared, you're confident, you can definitely advocate for yourself and get what you deserve.
Now, remember how we were talking about soft skills being so important for career growth?
Yeah.
Well, RoleCatcher actually gives some really practical advice on how to showcase those soft skills during an interview, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, because you can ace the technical question.
Right.
But if you can't connect with the interviewer on a personal level, that can hurt you.
Yeah, you got to have the whole package.
Exactly. So they give this example of a common interview question. They say, be ready for, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult client.
Oh, I've gotten that one before.
It's a classic. And it's your opportunity to really shine, to show them what you're made of. Don't just give a generic answer.
Right.
Share a specific example. Maybe a time you went above and beyond to solve a problem for a difficult client. Or you diffused a tense situation, something that really demonstrates those soft skills in action.
So it's not just about what you did, it's about how you handled it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How you stayed calm under pressure, how you communicated effectively, how you ultimately made that client happy.
Okay, so you're showing them like, hey, I can handle the technical stuff, but I can also handle people.
Exactly. And that's so important to this field because you're interacting with clients all the time, often when they're stressed out because their technology isn't working.
Right, right. They need someone who can be both a tech expert and a people person.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to, share those stories, highlight your empathy, your patience, your ability to build rapport.
Because at the end of the day, a tech wizard who can't communicate effectively,
Right.
that's like a printer with a paper jam.
It's not very useful.
Not very useful at all. All right, so we've talked about the day-to-day, the career path, the salary, even how to nail that interview. But it feels like RoleCatcher's analysis is missing something. You know what I mean? Like, there's this one key element that I don't think they really delve into. It's like they focus so much on the hard skills, Like, you got to know how to, reprogram the motherboard or whatever.
Right, the technical stuff.
But they don't really talk about how you're dealing with people, all day long.
That's huge in this field, though.
Right. You're walking into these offices, and let's be real, people are stressed out when their tech's not working.
Absolutely. They're depending on you to fix it, and fast.
So it's not just about knowing how to like replace the fuser or whatever. You got to be able to like talk someone off a ledge while you're doing it.
It's true. You could be dealing with a panicked marketing assistant 5 minutes before a big presentation. Their printer's jammed, and they're freaking out.
Exactly. And if you come in there all like robotic and techie, it's not going to help the situation.
Not at all. That's where those customer service skills come in. Being able to empathize, reassure them that you're going to get it fixed, that goes a long way.
It's almost like you're like a tech therapist or something.
In a way, yeah. Because you're not just fixing the machine, you're managing their expectations, calming their nerves.
Because I bet you anything, people remember that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you fix their printer, but they're going to tell their coworker, oh my gosh, that technician was so nice. They were so helpful.
Exactly. It's about building that rapport, that trust. You become more than just a technician. You're a trusted advisor.
Right, because anyone can swap out a hard drive, but not everyone can do it while also explaining what a hard drive is and why it's important in a way that makes someone feel like they're not, a total idiot.
It's all about how you make people feel. And I think that's something that RoleCatcher, maybe they don't explicitly say it, but it's there between the lines.
Yeah, like it's implied.
That human touch, that ability to connect with people on a personal level, that's what sets the good technicians apart from the great ones.
So yeah, you got to know your TCP/IP from your USB port, but don't forget to like smile and make eye contact while you're explaining it.
Exactly, because people, they might not remember exactly what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
And if you can turn a stressful tech meltdown into a positive interaction, that's huge. That's the kind of thing that earns you loyal clients, referrals, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. It's the secret sauce that RoleCatcher, maybe they don't shout it from the rooftops, but it's definitely in there.
Yeah, like a little hidden bonus tip.
Exactly. Technical skills are the foundation, no doubt, but it's that human element that really elevates you, takes you to the next level.
So to wrap things up here, if you're thinking about a career as an office equipment repair technician, remember, it's not just about mastering the machines, it's about connecting with the people who use them.
Couldn't agree more.
That human touch, that's what will make you stand out, and that's what will make this a truly rewarding career path.
Well said.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of office equipment repair technicians. Hopefully you learned something new today and maybe even feel inspired to explore this hands-on, high-demand career. Until next time, happy learning, everyone.